Welcome to the Soul Evolution Collaborative Tuesday night experience. Truth be told, thank you. I really want to express our appreciation for you watching this, and then also for all the people that supported and gave us feedback last week and then showed up for the Thursday night gatherings. That's what it's about, and it means so much to us. So really, thank you. Now, speaking of thanks, this is Thanksgiving week, so I do want to address that Thursday night, the gathering, which we've had so much fun with the last couple of weeks. We're not going to do it in person on Zoom. Instead, this week, we're going to post a couple of the topic questions that we would have had. We're going to post them in our Facebook community group. Please, if you're not already there, go sign up. This week, we wanted to address the video, the truth be told, what it is and why we do it. So essentially, we came up with a monthly theme, and then each week we break that into smaller ideas that we then do as our own individual segments. Really, it's the same idea expressed by the three of us in our own individualized ways. Then we put it into the world through this video to you, all of you unique individuals out there. And through that combination, people hear their ideas in different ways. Hopefully something relates and brings you something of value, because that's what we're really wanting to do with all of this project. And you're part of that, so we appreciate your feedback. Now, the first week, we started with the thing itself. The next week, we moved on to the way it works. Well, this week, we're moving into what it does and how to use it. And this, for me, is where it really gets important. And actually, this is like the highlight. All the information in the world is pretty useless if we don't actually apply it and make it work for us. So this week, we're going to look into interrupting our thoughts. And we're also going to discuss affirmative thoughts and creating prayer. And I know that word to a lot of people brings up different meanings. But really, it's just a matter of using our thoughts to create our reality. And so this week, we're going to look at really the intention behind our thoughts and taking power and control and responsibility for our thoughts to really start to shift our lives in the directions that we would like to go. Most people have the ideas, they have the dreams of what they would like to experience, but they never fully set the intention or make a plan of how to get there. Without doing that, well, things just stay the same. So I really hope you enjoyed tonight's video, and thanks for being here. Now sit back and enjoy Truth Be Told.
And now it's time for So You Did It Dumb.
So you did it dumb again. Kind of knew you would. I did. It's really something that we're going to keep doing over and over again because just how we are. And you know what? It really is okay, because this is one of the greatest tools we have to start interrupting that monkey mind that keeps wanting to tell us that we are dumb, even though we know we're not. And if you take away nothing else from this segment, it is to please know that you are not dumb. But here's the thing. We don't have time for dumb. And I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean literally, there is not actually time for there to be dumb. There is not actually a place or a time where dumb really exists. It's really something we have created. I mean, think about it this way. Where is your mind? Is it tangible? Can you locate it? What part of you thinks? And I know half of you out there are going to say it's the brain, but the brain and the mind are different. And we've actually proven that scientifically. Science cannot show where our thoughts are actually located because they're not a thing. Your thoughts are not actually a thing. So where are they? What are they? The mind is not tangible. It's not here. The mind is conscious. You are aware. You have consciousness. And consciousness exists beyond time and space. It exists beyond the physical world, beyond the cosmos. We don't know where it is. It's not even a where or a what or how. So if your thoughts, being conscious, exists beyond time and space. There literally is no time for dumb. Every thought and every action and every reality and experience that your mind has ever thought of and will ever think of has already happened in the realm of consciousness. It's already worked out. You don't have to be dumb. And what's really cool about this is that everything, every thought that you've had, every thought you will ever have, exists as potential. And every version of that thought exists as potential. There is this multitude of potentiality that exists within our thinking, within consciousness, as consciousness, that any of these things are possible. Literally, any thought you have is possible. They've all already played out. And what happens here is the culmination of our thinking, our actions, our beliefs, and how all of that filters down into this reality to play out here. So when we have did a dumb, what plays out here is the filtering of our belief system. So when we do this process, when we go through this process of interrupting this monkey mind, we are literally just interrupting the thoughts that we don't want to have. So let's weed out all those thoughts that we don't want there, right? We are trying to turn potentiality into possibility. Possibility is what shows up for us, and then through our actions and our thinking, that possibility shows up into reality. We make choices, and choices are acted on by law, and law is filtered through our subconscious, and then what gets filtered through that subconscious becomes our experience. So we want to change our experience. We need to interrupt our thoughts. We interrupt our thoughts, we change our beliefs change our subconscious, and that changes our reality. We must do this consciously. We must make choices consciously about what we think, what we feel, what we believe, and that will change our experience. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? Take the red pill and you unlock this world of possibility where we have to take responsibility for what we choose. Or you take the blue pill and magically all of this goes away and we go back to our unconscious way of being where life seems to just happen. Now, being that you are watching this, I assume you have already taken the red pill. And the unfortunate secret to that is there is a certain amount of responsibility that we have to take in order to create something new, in order to create something different the way that we would want it to show up for us. But we do have that possibility. We do have the means to create the experience that we want. So use this so you did a dumb process as a tool to interrupt your thinking. Every time you get to that place where you go, oh, that was so dumb, and you stop and go, no, I did a dumb. Every time you do that, what do I think about this? What do I feel about this? What does this really mean? Do I really believe this? What do I believe about what I just said, about what I just did, about what I just thought? And every time we do that, we continue weeding out the things that we don't really want to believe, the things that were possibly given to us at a young age as beliefs, the things that we've picked up somewhere along the way. We are weeding those out and changing our filter. We're changing our subconscious belief system so that we can create a world that we desire. So continue, please, continue doing a dumb.
So you did a dumb.
And now it's time for Conversations with Chris.
Hey, we gotta stop meeting like this, right? Last week, Conversations with Chris. I know, I wore a tie. Okay, I'm gonna give practical examples about how the thoughts that you have really do create your reality. And the RAS, rodents of unusual size. That's ROUS, and I am not going to be talking about the rodents of unusual size. No, the reticular activating system. More on that in just a moment. First off, life is perception. If you have a crummy situation happening in your life and you perceive it to be the end of the world, guess what? That's going to be your reality. Now, that same crummy situation, but you see it as an opportunity for growth. You know, in time, all right, if you are an optimist, generally, you're going to have a pretty pleasant life. If you are a pessimist, generally, you're going to have a pretty unpleasant life. Why? I'm glad you asked. It's the RAS, the reticular activating system. Simply put, our minds take in millions of bits of data every single day. Our brain can't possibly process all of that. So we have created a mental device that filters out all the stuff it determines is unnecessary. We don't need to know everything, but it also highlights the things that our subconscious mind and our conscious mind tells it is important. Okay, maybe you've seen this example before. Say you get a new car. Suddenly, you start seeing that make and model everywhere you go. Well, it's not that overnight the streets were flooded with that car. It's that now your RAS thinks it's important to you. You bought one after all. So every time it gets that bit of data, it says, hey, there's another one. Hey, there's another one. Look, Chris, there's another one. You ever notice that? Yep. Uh-huh. Toyota Sienna. Yep. So, if you think that life is out to get you, guess what? Your RAS is going to get lots of examples of why that's true. It's no fun. And if you're really deep in that funk, well, that's all the RAS is going to show you. It's not even going to think to show you the positive stuff because you were so focused on all that negative. You're probably not going to be very fun to be around. Maybe you know somebody like this. Yep, I've been like that a couple times in my life. Yeah, true. Now, the opposite is also true. If you are somebody that believes that good fortune goes wherever you go, well, the RAS is going to show you that over and over. Now, imagine the spectrum, very optimistic to very pessimistic. Most people right in the middle, they're content. They take the good with the bad. Well, I say content is boring because it's never going to ask you to step outside of your comfort zone and experience all that life has to offer. You got to get out there and change and experience. This is where it gets fun. The snowball effect. So if you are like super optimistic and you really make it a point, well, when you start getting over at that spectrum, good stuff happens to you. Your RAS shows you everything good happening to you, which makes you feel happier, which makes you act happier, which makes people act happier to you. It's the way it is. People like to be around people that make them feel good. And it just snowballs. Now, the opposite. If you're super pessimistic, well, that's how you act. That's what your RAS is showing you. And it makes you miserable, grumpy, thing after thing, and it just gets worse. Well, snowball effect. And that is dismal. But right now, if you're on that far spectrum in pessimism, it's time to rejoice. Why? Because this is the time that you can change your life in an instant. It's about perception and the story that you tell yourself. Those little crummy things that happen to you, the job, the people, the things that you drop on your foot, whatever. If you start finding something to feel positive about, a blessing in disguise, you can change the story that you tell yourself and things will start to change. Just perception can instantly change your life. I know because I experienced that about 12 years ago, and it was like an overnight change. You can do this. Now, since this is our last week with Conversations with Chris, I want to leave you with one more small token of my wisdom. Yeah. All right, get a notebook, put it by your nightstand. Every night, before you go to bed, write down 5 things that you appreciate about the day. Every night, 5 new things. And when you get up in the morning, maybe read it over, but get excited and ask your RAS or yourself to be on the lookout that day for more things that you can feel grateful about and write down that night. As you do this, it becomes a habit, and your RAS learns that it's important to show you things that are positive, things that make you feel good, and start that snowball rolling. So that's it. Conversations with Chris has been a blast. I wish you nothing but the best. Peace. You're kind of weird.
This has been Conversations with Chris.
Welcome to the segment Asking for a Friend. So today's question is, so what actually is affirmative prayer? Just to give you a little background about my relationship with this question, I was a religion major, undergraduate in college, and I remember just having a lot of struggle around this idea of prayer and this idea that, so if I pray to a God, then that means that I'm changing God's mind. And so that just didn't sit well with me. And so I remember asking a professor, so when we pray, are we actually trying to change God's mind? And he calmly answered, probably one of the most profound answers along my spiritual path. He said, prayer doesn't change God's mind. Prayer changes your mind. And I'm like, wow, mind blown. And that just set me on a path of really understanding what this connection, which is what prayer is, and we call it affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment. But it really is more about a connection, more about aligning ourselves with the truth of what we know. So it's not to change anything. It's not to ask for anything, but it really is to align ourselves, to shift our focus, shift our awareness around any given situation. So this shift, this focus really kind of allows our energy to become aligned with this co-creative universe. So then we can actually, through this intention and through this power of our word, really begin to create the things in our life that we want to experience and really live a life from this space. So just to briefly review, spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer and the whole process. First, there's a recognition stage. And this is really where we're understanding that there is one power and one presence, one thing that's back of everything. There's not a place or space or time or situation where this presence is not found. It literally is infused in all that we see and the things that we can't see. And so the second part is unification. So this presence, this power, this universal force, whatever you want to call it, is not something that's outside of us, just kind of looking down on us and we're trying to earn our way to it. But instead, it is who and what we are. So we're connected to this presence. That which the presence is, we are. And so it really starts to kind of seep into our heart, mind, and soul, this kind of gooiness of spirit. And so the third stage in affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment is the realization. It's understanding that, yes, there's one power and presence, one motivating force, that we are connected to it. So from that space of connection, then we can begin to set our intention. Then we can begin to align our minds and our hearts with the truth of what that is, what that power and presence is. So if we know that this power and presence is love and is peace, is joy, then we know that which that is also here, so that we can really claim it, that I know that all there is joy and all there is peace. So then I know that that's true right now for me because I'm part of this one power and presence. So once we really kind of align ourselves in that realization stage or that realization kind of moment in this process really does kind of snap us back into alignment with what we know to be true. And then, as always, the next stage is Thanksgiving. As always, gratitude, gratefulness for our understanding, gratefulness for our awareness, gratefulness for all that exists, gratefulness for all that we're able to participate in and co-create with. Gratitude is always the number one attitude adjuster. It really just serves to just kind of hit home the truth of what we're trying to manifest. And then we release it, knowing that we have aligned ourselves, knowing that this is true, and knowing that we just release it into this law, this universe that always says, yes, give me more, and I will show you that there is more to be had. And so it's not a trick formula that if you say the right things, you get the right things. So it's not a formula that you have to do it all the right way, but instead it's just a guide, a process, something to to really kind of practice. And you get the feel, the more and more you become aligned with this, the more and more you'll be able to see that this really frees the flow of energy to flow through us and then create a life that we love to live. Thank you for being here, and an even bigger thank you for watching it to the end.
It's our hope that this has brought you some things to think about. If you would like to dive in deeper, join us in conversation on Thursday night. We will explore these topics and whatever else might come up.
If this message resonates with you, please click like, share, and join our Facebook community, and sign up for our newsletter on soulevolutioncollaborative.org.
This is just the beginning, and we are excited to bring this philosophy to the masses.
Be on the lookout for videos, classes, workshops, and eventually in-person gatherings.
The Soul Evolution Collaborative is supported and made possible by people like you. If you feel called to pay it forward, like those who have come before us, feel free to donate by clicking the donate button or visiting soulevolutioncollaborative.org and finding the donate link on our website. As an outreach of the Orlando Center for Spiritual Living, all donations are tax deductible and greatly appreciated.
We'll see some of you on Thursday night at 7.
Check out our website for more details on how to join.
Everybody else, we'll see you next week.